Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video, what I wanted to do was I wanted to start forming a playlist that allows students that are not only in virtual but hybrid programs that due to COVID has really changed the educational dynamic of learning. And for a lot of students, especially for the virtual learning students, it's become very difficult for them to adapt to such a curriculum so quickly. And what I wanted to do was put a playlist together that really brings enjoyment and a breakdown of a lot of mathematical common core curriculum ideas into really fun and enjoyable activities. One of the biggest challenges that students have with adapting to a virtual learning program is that it mostly focuses on the visual learning type of learning style for students. And there are three basic learning styles that students can have, being auditory, which means that they hear the concept being explained to them. One is visual, means that it's kind of shown in front of them. And then the last one is kinesthetic, which means it's more hands-on, so to speak. So growing up for myself, I was always a kinesthetic learner. Things hands-on and doing things like in the moment was more easy for me. But I also understand that a lot of students have very different learning styles. Some have a combination of the three. So what I wanted to do was put a playlist together that kind of brings activities from the mathematical subject into all three of those learning styles. And I hope from your comments and feedback I get a lot of other ideas. But I'll start each video kind of explaining the concept mathematically that I'm going to be doing the activity for, kind of a refresher of the concept itself, and then going into the activity and giving you kind of a demo. Okay? So this first activity is going to be what I call the inequality in an equation balance challenge game. So basically how it works is, for lack of better of, you have a balance scale or kind of seesaw apparatus in front of you, so to speak, for lack better of. On the left side, you have the left side of the equation or inequality, which is your algebraic expression. The middle or the fulcrum is going to act as your inequality symbol or your equal sign. And then your right side is going to be the accepted value of the inequality or equation, or if it is a double-sided variable equation, some other mathematical expression. Now, when we talk about equations and inequalities, we want to think of them like balance scales because it allows us to solve and isolate the variable more visually and easily. So, for example, if I had the equation 2x plus 5 is equal to 21, what I want to do is I want to isolate the variable x from what's being done to it. Now, in this particular expression, we have 5 being added to it and 2 being multiplied by it. So to undo this equation, or to solve for x, what we would do first is subtract 5 from both sides, and then we'll get that 2x is equal to 16, and then we would divide both sides by 2 because that's the opposite of multiplying by 2, and then we would get that x is equal to 8. Okay, so that's just kind of a really quick run through and refresher for solving equations and inequalities. So basically how this activity works is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself against the clock. I'm going to give myself a minute to try to get as many of these equations solved as I can, but I'm going to kind of show you them as I go. So, because you probably can't see from this distance, but I'll be carrying the laptop too. So what's going to happen is I'm going to kind of start by giving myself the first equation and putting myself against the clock. Now, the greatest part about this activity is it forces the student to remember and retain the idea that when we're solving equations, we have to do the operation to both sides of the balance scale, so to speak. That's why the idea of a balance scale is so beneficial to solving equations, because we can't undo what's being done to the variable unless we do it to both sides due to our property of equality. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this set up real quick, and then I'll kind of bring the computer with me. Okay, so in addition to this, so what you have here is you have all of the possible operations that can be done to these equations. Now, when you're setting up this activity, you honestly can make as many as you want, but the idea is to kind of make it a little bit more challenging by giving both possible operations of the equation. So for example here, when I had 2x plus 5 is equals to 21, I want to subtract 5 from both sides and divide by 2, but to make it more challenging and make sure that the idea of retainment of understanding undoing what's being done to the variable, I could also add in plus 5 to both sides and multiplying by 2 to both sides to my possible operations. So that makes it a little bit more challenging, but basically you have here is you want to find a matching pair of the operation that you have to add or do to the equation to isolate the variable. Okay. All right. So for example, for the 2x plus 5, I would look for 2 that would say minus 5 because I want to subtract 5 from both sides. And then I would want to find 2 that say divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, if you are working with a student, one thing that you can do is with like a little handy-dandy whiteboard or something, you can do the inequality or equation as they're solving it to make it easy for them to see what they have left to do to fully isolate the variable and solve for it. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, and we'll see how we do here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually give myself 3 minutes just to give myself a little bit of time here to explain everything. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so, alright. So what I'll do is when I show you, when I get to one equation, I will go ahead and bring it here, and then I'll bring it back, and then I'll solve for it, okay? So here we go in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Alright, so we got 5x minus 5 is less than 25. So what I want to do is I want to add 5 to both sides, and I want to divide by 5. Okay, so here are the 2 5s that I have to add. I'll add it to both sides of the equation. And then I have to divide by 5 on both sides. Here's a divide by 5, here's a divide by 5. And if I add 5 to both sides, I'll get that 5x plus 5x. So 5 plus 5 to both sides is 30, 5x equals 30. Divide 5 by both sides, x is equal to 6. Alright, let's go to the next one. So 7x plus 8 is less than or equal to 64. So I want to subtract 8 from both sides first. So subtract 8 from both sides. So if I subtract 8, 7x is equal to 56. And then I want to divide by 7 on both sides to isolate the variable further. Divide 7 by both sides. Divide 7, 56 divided by 7 is x is less than or equal to 8. Last one. So we got 12x minus 12 is equal to 132. So what I want to do is I want to add 12 to both sides. So 12x minus 12, I'm going to add 12 to both sides to isolate it. So 12x is equal to 144. I'm going to divide 12 on both sides. 144 divided by 12 is 12. X is equal to 12. Okay. So the idea here again is this is a more kinesthetic activity. for students, very hands-on, being able to see both visually and kinesthetically the idea of a balance. So that's the idea behind this activity. There are a lot of things you can do to change the difficulty or the challenge aspect of it. There was one time where I added the effect that you had to unlock the safe, that each correct answer will give you access to a key and unlock a safe to find the hidden treasure, so to speak. So that was one thing I added. Going against the clock is a fun challenge for students too. So there's a lot of other things that you can add for the mathematical aspect of it. You can add rational numbers, you can add negatives, you can add distribution property. So there's a lot that you can do with this activity. In future videos, I kind of might amp it up a little bit with showing the difficulty and the changes of it. Biggest thing here with inequalities too is negative numbers. When we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality, so that can be a challenge or a component that we add to. So I hope this helps you guys out. I hope it gives you some ideas that you can kind of implement to make math a little bit more enjoyable. I'm going to be adding some more videos too, but I usually don't ask, but if you guys have any feedback or comments below, let me know. I really like to benefit from those too. Helps me get more ideas and being able to help out even more students too. But as always, guys, please take good care during this really crazy time. But I hope you're all safe, and I hope to see you guys soon. And as always, take good care.